So real quick, I just want to talk about one other thing during the Chief Chat here today, and that's this idea of asking for stuff and getting it. I don't know if you saw an email I sent out a couple of weeks ago. It was the Sunday before Copy Chief Live, and I think that was in fact, I have it right here. Let me just share. My email. You guys get to see my email. Hope there's nothing weird going on here. How to ask for something big and get it. Yeah. And this is interesting. Like, you know how themes this is a great thing about doing, authority content, like having dialogue with the audience, is that these themes emerge. And so I won't read this whole thing, but if you saw this email, if you got me foldered somewhere, I would look this one up. It's worth kind of reading. It's a story of a guy that I called Tom, because I did not want to expose his identity. I want to respect his privacy. We know it's a him. And Tom wrote to me about the event, and I go through the conversation we had back and forth. And the thing that really struck me, it was just a cool thing how it all went down. He essentially said to me, look, I'm really inspired to be at Copy Chief Live, but I'm not able to buy a ticket right now for whatever reason. It's just not an option for me, but I'm unthwarted, and I'm going to come to St. Petersburg, and I'm going to be there, and I'm not trying to crash your event, but I am making myself available to you. My goal is to provide value and, find a way to belong at this event. And, could I volunteer? Surely you could use an extra set of hands. Events are a big thing to put on and everything, right? And this really touched me, because that's exactly the position I was in the first time I met John Carlton. It's very similar to what I wrote to John. The difference is, unlike Tom, I told a little white lie. I said, hey man, it just so happens I'm going to be in Chicago when you're holding that hot seat event at $5,000 a ticket that I couldn't afford a seat to. I didn't say that. I was just like, but man, if you need any help at the event, I'm free that day. I could hold a clipboard or do whatever. And I was shocked that John was like, yeah, that'd be great. Come hang out. And Dean Jackson will be there. And it was life-changing. And so I loved Tom's intent. And man, the thing is, when you're asking for something, it's so much what you don't say as much as what you do say. He never said, can I get a free ticket? He never said, hey man, I'm having a difficult time, but I know this could change my life, and if you'd only see it in your heart. He didn't do any of that more sort of like obvious stuff. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that. But there's what always inspires me, and what the whole point of Copy Chief and Copy Chief Live is, taking people who have discovered an ability to write persuasively and to communicate persuasively, and put that on display, right? And show up and be a part of this conversation, that this is what we do. This is a part of this industry where that is essentially the skill we need. Why these companies come to want to meet the writers and hopefully hire the writers and make these job offers, because whether you're new at this or whether you've been at this for years, it's not so much how good can you write. This isn't fiction writing, right? It's, do you have that sort of instinctive ability to communicate persuasively? And that's what I saw in this exchange back and forth with the man we'll call Tom. And got to the point where I was inspired to invite him to be my guest at the event. And very glad I did that, because like everybody else, he showed up fully. He engaged fully. He's done an amazing job of following up with the opportunities. I believe he's in the running for one of the the coveted jobs with traffic and funnels, and I couldn't have more excitement for him and the opportunities he's creating for himself by skillfully reaching out and asking for something that he otherwise couldn't have. And it just so happened that and I'll let them, it's up to you if yeah, they want to out themselves. They don't need to. Because it's a private thing they're doing, and someday maybe we'll do a whole case study about it. It'd be cool to have the punchline of how this really can affect his life and help him transition out of the situation he's in. But then, so here I am after the event. I go to Paris, and I say that flippantly, like, of course I jet off to Paris. I don't. It was a privilege to go to Paris. My wife and I have been married 20 years. We're celebrating our anniversary. We never had a honeymoon, we eloped. We just got going with life. She sometimes says that we honeymooned in the Dells, the Wisconsin Dells, to which I say, please, honey, never say that. We, not to be, an asshole, but, and I'm sure many people have had lovely honeymoons in the Dells, but I just always in my mind wanted to give her a little more grandiose time. And we did go to the Dells after our wedding and spend a lovely weekend by the lake. But I always thought, what if I could give her Paris? What if I could give her Italy? What if I could? And it took 20 years, man. It took 20 years. And frankly, it took 20 years and profit first. Tip of the hat to Mike Michalowicz. To allow me to very confidently say to my wife, hey, our 20th is coming up. Let's go to Paris. Let's go spend 4 nights in Paris together. And we did. And it was magical. Whenever you give yourself up to travel, like we've been talking about, who knows what the hell is waiting for you out there, right? You never see people having more of a nightmare in their life often than in the airport or a bus station when like everything's gone completely haywire. Flights can change and get canceled and you get stuck places and all kinds of horrible crap can happen to you when you travel. But sometimes like the universe just aligns and goes, oh, you guys are having an anniversary. Let us make everything beautiful for you. Wouldn't that be great? But part of it was that we had no plan. Like I didn't know anything about Paris. We didn't do any research. We just, of course, knew it would be amazing. But I don't know the history of France, like I wish I did. And I showed up ignorant, ready to just have this experience. And so we did that. And turns out, the hotel was amazing. The restaurant in the hotel, the cafe in the hotel was amazing. The bar in the hotel was an herbatorium, which is a thing I've never seen before. And everything was perfect, right? We're sleeping in every day. We're just walking in any direction that feels right to us. And we're discovering the city on our own terms as if we were the first people to ever have this idea. And so one thing I wanted, though, the one plan I made was my favorite new band. They're called the Black Pumas. Black Pumas. Look them up if you like good music. They remind me of an old school soul band. The singer reminds me like of Al Green, and they're just super cool and funky and I don't know, they're just great. The Black Pumas, man. And they're playing in Paris while we're there. What are the chances? So I did have, that was my one mission. I'm like, we have to be in the show. I don't know how we're going to do it. It's sold out. It was already sold out when I even saw that they were playing there. Small club, sold out. And I didn't want to be the pushy American and just show up there and go, who's willing to give up a ticket? Like I didn't know. I was like, how am I going to handle this with a plum? So I'm just basically looking at any avenue where I can get in a side door, like, or find a ticket somehow. So I'm reaching out. My friend Sue Rice lives in France, and it's like, do you know anybody at this club? My friend Tom Rhodes, who's a comic who's played Paris many times. Do you ever play this club? Do you have any connections there? Guy I met on the plane. I'm like, can you, you heard enough? Nobody can help me. It's sold out. I'm locked out. It ain't happening. Right. And so maybe I'm inspired by Tom. I say, well, what if I just go straight to the source and try my luck, right? So I go to Black Puma's Facebook page, I click message, and I write. Let me just share with you the exchange. I think this will be insightful. Because what's interesting about it is it's nothing elaborate at all, right? It was really kind of spur of the moment, but again, being wanting to be persuasive, those copywriting skills are always with us. It was more about what do I make sure I don't say than what I do say, right? I don't want to come off like a creep or pushy or expecting anything. And so, there we go. Cool. Oh, look, this is Rachel Kraft. Rachel Kraft doing authority content. How great is that? Awesome, Rachel. By the way, Rachel, I just recorded our podcast yesterday together, and it will go live Tuesday. How's that for a quick turnaround? So listen for Rachel there. That's awesome. All right, so here's what I wrote to them. I said, hey, big fan from the States. I've been turning all my music-loving friends onto you, and they become instant fans, which is true. But again, I wanted to provide some value, let you know I've been out here ringing your bell. My wife and I are in Paris and saw you are playing tomorrow, but it's sold out. Any insight to tickets? It would be magnificent to see your show here. Response I get is, oh no, it looks like all tickets are sold out for that one, but we do have a date in Paris in February on sale if you are able to make that one. To which I say, thanks, but we go home to Florida on Sunday. We are here celebrating our 20th anniversary. Any Florida dates coming up, right? So now my thought was, well, let them know that it just so happens isn't this kind of amazing that we're here celebrating our 20th anniversary? You're playing here. I love this band. But let me not push for that. Let me just say, any Florida dates coming up. Okay, fine. I'll let it go. And I just want to see the band. That's my true intention, right? So they say not yet, but we will be sure to let everyone know when we do Emily management. Now, this is where it was supposed to end because she's like, all right, didn't work out. Good luck to you. Thanks for being a fan, whatever. So I say, thanks. I'm not giving up on tomorrow night just yet. Really love this band. Just letting her know I'm not giving up hope. I'm not satisfied with the idea that maybe I'll see this band someday. I want to see them while I'm in Paris. There's got to be a way, right? I'm just like leaving that glimmer of, please, that kind of hope. And then listen to this. So that is 3:04 p.m. on the 7th. Oh wow, November 7th again. Yeah. So this is I guess only an hour later, right? Hey, Kevin, we just spoke with our tour manager, and it looks like we had a couple spots open up for this one. So we're going to put your name +1 on the guest list for the Paris show at La Bleu Noir. That's great French, isn't it? Means the black ball. Tomorrow evening. Enjoy celebrating your anniversary. What? I mean, I was flabbergasted. Honestly, I read that we were sitting at another jazz club, and then I just said thank you so much. And then later, she said thank you. You're welcome. Sent her pictures of me, and by the way, met some of the band members, and they were all so thrilled at this story, and they knew Emily, and they said, we're going to thank Emily. Like, so cool that she did that for you. Like, it just was, it was a feel good thing all the way around. Right. It was just, it was funny because it was getting to the point where I think this was going to be the one point of contention on this amazing trip to Paris, where Michelle was starting to go, listen, like, why are we going to go there? Like, what are you going to do? Like, starting to like maybe like dial it back. Kev, this is becoming an obsession. And I'll tell you what, having gone to the show, there's no way. Like, there was just a line of people out the door. The club was all about the show. Go in, go out. I wasn't going to like try to scalp tickets or wave euros around, or, you know what I mean? It wasn't good. We weren't getting in. So this was a man. It was like really just this amazing gift, and the show was everything I thought it would be. It was like so few times something appears before you in reality the way it lived in your head as a fantasy, and the show was that. The band was incredible, the atmosphere was incredible, it was just so cool. And so here's two instances of people wanting something they can't have for whatever reason, for whatever circumstance in their life has brought them to this moment where something's keeping them from what they want. And how do you ask for it? It's as much what you don't say, and how do you not come off desperate or too aggressive or pushy or assumptuous, in just be cool and say, here's my intention. Here's my intention for what I want. And if you see a reason to help me, I would love to receive your help. Right. So I don't know. It's persuasive communication on display. And thank you to Emily from Black Pumas Management. And I'll tell you what, that is how a good band becomes a big band. This band is selling out every date they book. I hope they break. I hope they make another great record and just become this big band, because they're not the typical genre of what becomes a big band anymore, right? So it'd just be cool to see a really good band just grow and take over the world. And treating your fans like that is how you get that done.